Hey guys, it's the Nerdy Movie Guy, and I'm here to talk about The Flash. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I wish I had The Flash's superpowers. So I can go to a timeline where this movie doesn't exist. So, let's unpack this movie. The first thing I want to mention is what I think is the defining moment of this movie that's gonna determine whether or not people are going to enjoy it, is the comedy. I didn't find it funny. I found it cringy. I found it to be out of place. And I just thought the jokes were just bad. But hey, if you start watching this movie and you see the comedy and it's your kind of thing, if you think the jokes are funny, you're probably going to enjoy this a lot more than I did. So, if we're going to break apart the characters, from the trailer, we see that Barry Allen goes to another Earth. And there is for the sake of this video, we're going to call him Earth 2 Barry. So Earth 2 Barry, when these characters meet, the tone kind of shifts. In the beginning of the movie, Barry Allen, there's a team-up scene, he's kind of doing his superhero thing, and he's making jokes. It's not really funny, but he's making jokes, and that's his character. That's who he is in the opening of the movie. When he meets this other, Barry Allen, the tone shifts. It's like the writers changed what they wanted for the characters. When the two Barrys meet, Earth 1 Barry is the serious character. He doesn't really make any jokes that I can recall for the rest of the film. Earth 2 Barry is I don't know, he gets all the comedy, and it's just weird because they shifted Earth 1 Barry's tone and made him a serious character all of a sudden, which I would have been fine with, but it didn't feel like the story really flowed. There wasn't any substance to why he's suddenly acting different, just because there's another Barry Allen around, I guess. So their dynamic, I thought, was just silly. It was goofy. There were some moments in the movie that I thought could have been really serious. That could have been a real strong, heartfelt moment. But to me, the comedy just smothered it. There wasn't hardly any scene where there wasn't a joke in there. So if you're like me and you just didn't find these jokes funny, it kind of takes you out of the moment, and I couldn't enjoy it. I couldn't enjoy these scenes for what they are. Now, the other thing I want to mention is Michael Keaton's Batman. Michael Keaton is Batman in this movie. Now, I have seen his first movie. I hadn't seen the others. I don't know. I've heard that the other three movies are supposed to be the same Bruce Wayne, even though they're three different actors with Val Kilmer and George Clooney. I don't know. Maybe you guys can correct me. But I only saw that first one. And I enjoyed it for what it was. It was a fun movie. Now, we see Michael Keaton in this movie, in The Flash. It's hard to say. I don't know if people who have been fans of Michael Keaton from the start and have been waiting for his return, I don't know if his return in this movie was worth it or not. I don't feel it was. And the reason I'm going to say that is he was in this movie, but he doesn't really talk about his past. He doesn't talk about anything that happened during his movies. He doesn't talk about any other characters that could have been related to Bruce Wayne. The only mention is the actor who played Alfred in those movies has passed. So his Alfred is mentioned, but just briefly. And that is the only character that is mentioned. So I felt like we really didn't get any substance from Michael Keaton's Batman. It just felt like they gave up on Ben Affleck and they needed a Batman for this movie. And with nostalgia, with original actors coming back, it's been a thing this past couple of years, and sometimes it's worked, sometimes it doesn't. Two examples. Jurassic World Dominion, I believe it was called. I thought it was a okay movie. You know, the original actors came back, but it wasn't great, it wasn't exciting. Take Spider-Man No Way Home. That was very exciting with their returning characters. So those are two very different tones in returning characters. And I felt like this movie tried to capitalize on this popular idea that's been going around, and it just didn't feel like it worked. Of course, in the trailer, we see that Zod is coming back, and that is kind of what cements the story, is he is the new threat on this new Earth. And from the trailer, Barry Allen also mentions that he's created a world with no metahumans. So he's trying to find some heroes wherever he can. And that's where Supergirl comes in. Supergirl, I didn't feel like I hated her character. I didn't feel like I liked her character. I felt like she was just there. It was kind of the same as Batman. It felt like they just wanted a team up, and they just kind of picked random characters that didn't feel like they really belonged in this kind of a story. What I feel this movie could have done to be so much better is let Barry Allen be a serious character. Let him have a personable story. Give him his own story without being a team up. And just let the scenes happen. I think that would have made it so much better. They had some serious undertones that could never bloom, if you will, because it was saturated by either the jokes or the nostalgia or the visuals. It just didn't work, and I don't know what could have been done to make it better. I just think that the problem was too many characters with too many side stories. Now, when we move on with the plot is your classic Flash tale. It's reminiscent of a Flashpoint event. So, there's other characters, some returning, some new, but I felt like because of the other characters, he didn't really get a personable story. Toward the end, they kind of touched on what they mentioned in the beginning. So he got a closing, mostly, and that's when you get a tender moment with Barry Allen in the end. But by then, you're so turned off by the movie. For me, I was taken out of the moment, and I couldn't enjoy it because of everything else that had been smothered. For instance, General Zod, when the actor came back, one thing that I thought was just slightly annoying is it felt like most of his lines in this movie were his lines in Man of Steel. So he is an example of a returning character that didn't really get any new substance at all. He was just a threat again. There wasn't anything new or different to his character. So my take on The Flash, I couldn't enjoy it. I was too distracted by the comedy. The visuals were distracting as well. And I think that the director put too much into this movie, that everything just kind of felt like a mess. Nothing blended well. Everything kind of had their own stories, their own characters, and I don't think it felt concise. So that's my review on The Flash. I'd love to hear in the comments, for those of you who enjoyed it, I want to hear your point of view. Maybe you have a point of view from this movie that I didn't. But that's my take on the Flash movie, guys. Thanks for watching.